we go. Here we go. All right. Hey, Kendall, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. How you doing?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Just chilling on this Wednesday.
Good.
I really got back to my apartment like 10 minutes ago because I just finished the radio show.
Nice.
So yeah,
Oh, perfect. We love to hear that.
right, right. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time out to talk to me. I appreciate
Of
it.
course.
And
Yeah.
before I start like peppering you with questions and all that, I just want to ask you how you been doing during these pandemic times and your family as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for asking. They're all safe, they're all good. It's been weird working from home or transitioning to working from home, but
Right.
we kind of got to do what we got to do as professionals, and so hopefully hopefully we get back to normal here pretty soon.
I know that's right. I know it.
Yeah.
Um, Before I get started, I want to give you a little background on me.
Mhm.
Also, give a little background to why I wanted to talk to you as well.
Yeah.
Uh, as you know, my name is Chris. I'm a senior in college.
Perfect.
Yep, yep, yep. And I'm a journalism and emerging media major. I do a sports radio show, co-host a sports radio show that we do Wednesdays 2 to 4 out here. Um, I also am a staff writer for my magazine, my school magazine.
Nice.
I've gotten some experience in covering some football games, high school football games. I covered
Mhm.
11 this past fall. I'm going to be covering some high school basketball games next month as well
Nice.
as a sports writer. I love sports writing, but I also love sports radio, and I want to be kind of like a writer and on radio, and I kind of want to
Mhm.
be a reporter too. So I kind of want to be a triple threat. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love sports with a passion. I love talking to people with a passion. I graduate in July of this year,
Okay.
and yeah, so the reason why I wanted to reach out to you is because I've been doing this for since I would say, excuse me, since November and December. I've been
Mhm.
kind of reaching out to different people, mainly writers back then, but now more so, I've been reaching out to people that are producers and anchors and reporters
Mhm.
and directors and digital hosts like yourself.
Mhm.
And I've also been reaching out to people in markets that I want to be in. I'm
Love
a
it.
West Coast kid, so
I
I'm
love it.
from California. So
Okay.
um, and obviously, Colorado is definitely a place that I love dearly. So
Mhm.
it's a great place. It's great to talk to people from there. Great to talk to talented professionals like yourself.
Thank you.
And I
Yeah,
love.
no, it's good. You're doing all the right steps for sure. So I love it.
Oh, well, thank you, Kendall. I appreciate that. Well, my first
Yeah.
question is, what made you or inspired you to want to become in the sports media industry?
Yeah, so I've wanted to do this job, not this job specifically, but be in sports. Honestly, my whole life. I think since I was like 6 years old. My dad was a football coach. a
Oh,
high school
really?
football coach. Yeah, high school football coach. So I just remember ever since I was little, like I said, 6 years old, I was always on the sideline with him and in the locker room when he was, coaching all the young men of the football team and stuff. And I would always be with him on game nights and stuff. And it was always something that my family and I bonded over, whether it was, I'm from Seattle. So the Seattle Mariners, Seattle Seahawks, Supersonics, RIP to them. But
Right, right.
back then too. So it was always something that sports has always been a part of my life. And so I thought, why not combine something I'm passionate with, for my everyday job. And so here I am doing that, talking sports all day, every day. And it's funny because whenever people say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel so blessed to be in sports and just in the position I am right now with 104.3 The Fan, because I do have a great job and I love to do it every day. So it's just fantastic. And I am so blessed to be able to do it.
I love it. I love it. That's exactly how I got into sports too. My dad,
Exactly.
being in San Diego, we didn't have no basketball team, so we had to root for the Lakers. Um, I'm a Padres fan.
I was gonna
But my
say your baseball team's pretty good now, though.
yeah, pretty good. My second team is actually the Mariners because I'm a huge
Okay, well,
Ken Griffey Jr. fan.
I'm so
So,
sorry for that because
yeah.
they're horrible. But
I
it's
like
okay.
to.
Eventually, they will get there.
Eventually, you're right. But I was always
Yeah.
a huge Ken Griffey, Edgar Martinez,
Yep. Yeah.
Ichiro fan, and I just
Yeah.
loved the Mariners from growing up.
Yeah.
So if it
I
wasn't the
love that.
Padres, it was the Mariners. So
I love it.
that's what's up. So as a digital host, what exactly do you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, what is your actual like job that you do on a day-to-day?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because I tell people I'm in radio and then I'm like, well, I'm a digital host. And they're like on camera. And I go, well, yeah, it's so funny how everything has changed so much because the way people can consume sports now is everywhere, Twitter,
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, podcasts on the radio and things like that. So everyday job is really, we have all our shows, starting from 6 a.m. to midnight. And we stream the shows live on Twitch. So if you want to go check it out,
Mm,
104.3 The Fan.
okay.
But usually it's really dependent on the day. I kind of joke around that the digital team is on call, every day, 24 hours a day, because when news breaks, it's us putting the graphics up. And when, shows have videos that you see go up on our Twitter, it's us editing them and, kind of getting those hot topic questions and things they're talking about and putting them out there, because that's what people love to consume, is like the questions that you don't think about, or the hot topics like, Drew Lock and the Broncos and the new general manager, everything like
Oh,
that. So, it's everything from creating graphics to doing on camera stuff myself and making sure that I'm putting myself out there, to doing, score graphics for the Rockies, Nuggets, Avalanche, Broncos, everything under the sun as a
man.
digital host that you can think of. So basically what I tell people is everything you see on the website and everything you see on our social pages is our amazing digital team between myself, James Merlat, and Johnny Hart, just kind of doing it to make sure that people can consume our radio station in different ways other than just listening to the radio.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you do an absolutely fabulous job. I can just tell you just oozing with your smile. You just love sports, and I love that. I love being
Yeah,
around
no, we
people
love
like that.
it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to ask you, what was some things that you did in college that helped you prepare for your role now?
Yeah, no, it's funny because when you were telling me about what you're doing in college, I'm sitting here like, yeah, like that's it. Check on that, check on that. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do. So I went to Arizona State. So I went to the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, lovely school. And when I was there, I was obviously doing, they had Cronkite News, or the Cronkite Sports Bureau, I should say. So we were in that for credit. So we would go out to, high school basketball games, high school football games, cover all those, do stories, do enterprise stories. But I
Yeah,
was also the sports editor for our paper. So it was called the State Press. It is called the State Press. And that was something that I made sure when I went into college, I wanted to be sure that I had all the skills that I needed so that no one could say no to me when I was applying for jobs.
absolutely.
I say, I want to be on camera and I'm a digital host and that's, what I want to do is on camera work. But I wanted to make sure that I knew every aspect of everything from sports and how they produce shows and how they write. I wanted to know every aspect of what was going on. So as I was a beat writer, for the soccer team for ASU, and same with the softball team. And then I became a sports editor to edit everyone's papers, everyone's reports and stuff like that on all the other teams. And then I did on camera work and I did production work. So for me, it was important to be kind of like that Swiss Army knife, so
Oh
that
yeah.
when people saw your resume, they could say, oh, she can do all this that maybe one other person can only do this aspect of the job. So it really, in college, that's what I always tell people is get involved in as many things as you can without, wrecking your mental health, because that's super important to keep your mental health important. But do as many things as you can to not only make yourself a Swiss Army knife type thing, but to also make connections. Connections are so important in this business, because no matter what we say, it's a small industry. Everyone knows everyone. So it's important to make those connections off the bat too. So that's kind of what I did in college to make myself stand out, is I did things maybe necessarily I didn't want to get into in the long run, but things that I knew would help shape me, not only as a journalist, but as, a reporter, a sports reporter. So I learned the best, concrete values that I could.
I like that. I like that a lot. Two things
Mm-hmm.
that resonated with me before I get to the next question is
Uh-huh.
that um, this semester for me, since this is my final spring semester, um, I'm huge on writing.
Uh-huh.
Huge on. I like being in front of the camera. I like talking. I like interviewing. I love doing this. This is what I'm most comfortable at because this is
Mm-hmm.
just naturally my
Yeah,
personality.
I can tell. I love it.
Yeah, right. So, but the editing part and the producing part is something that I'm lacking. I'm
Yeah.
definitely lacking in those two areas, and I'm taking a news production class this
Mm.
semester to try to sharpen my skills. And I think you're
Nice.
absolutely right. The versatility of us, if we can exhibit that, we become more imperative for a company to hire us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I
Exactly.
want to be.
Exactly. And it's so different for, people, because I graduated 2 years ago. So it's so different now. It's funny looking at how people were hiring before to now, they expect us to like have so many different skill sets. And while sometimes you sit back and you think, wow, I'm doing a lot, it's just kind of how the edge has come, is that,
Yeah,
now people are doing so many things because they can learn so much through the internet and, everything like that. So they
right.
expect us to be able to do a lot of those things. So that's why I always tell people, do as much as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is the most rewarding thing about your job, but what is also the most challenging thing about your job, and why?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I think the most rewarding thing for me is being able to connect with listeners, because Denver, I have not lived here my whole life, so I can't be that biased, but Denver has incredible sports fans. And for
Yes, they do.
me, it's being able to tell, to not only tell stories, but to just bring people something that brings them joy. Or as, maybe Denver fans recently have been feeling not so much joy, but it's just being
Right,
able to be in those, to be allowed to be in people's cars while they're driving with their children, or to be allowed to have young girls and boys, men and women, watching our digital platform and learning something, hopefully, or just, getting a good laugh, trying to be someone's stress release of the day, is kind of so awesome to think that we're able to do that for them. And to, with everything going on, pandemic, everything,
yeah,
hopefully being someone's, like I said, stress release, something that they can just laugh with our hosts, or they can watch our videos or read our columns and get angry and, have an opinion about it, because they're so
right.
passionate. So I think that is the most rewarding thing, is knowing that, we're in people's cars, we're in people's homes, but we can bring them some kind of joy with that comes with sports. And I think the most, God, was it stressful? The most stressful part? Is that what you
The
said?
challenging part. Yeah,
Challenging. Probably
absolutely.
the most challenging part, and you probably know this a lot, is that, when you get into sports, it's it's a grind. So you don't, we don't have regular 9 to 5s, we're off at 5. We get the weekends with our family
Right.
and friends. We get the vacations. It's, you kind of got to realize that when you really love this job, you're going to give a lot up to do it and succeed in it. I've seen this industry, you know, pick through a lot of people that just realized, hey, this isn't for me, because, it's a lot. And I don't discredit anyone that has gotten out of the industry or found a different part of the industry other than broadcasting, because it is a grind, and it is something that you absolutely have to love to do to stay in it. Because like I said, vacations, it's kind of like, oh, when is the off season? But right before the draft. But if something happens in between the draft and now in the off season, what am I going to do? And game days are on Sundays, but then you prep on Saturdays. So I think
Right.
that part of the job, just knowing that you don't have a normal schedule, you don't have usually a normal social life, but that's okay, because if it's something that you love to do, it makes it all worth it. I always make the joke, and I think it's hilarious, that sure, we could have regular jobs that maybe pay better too. We're not in the business. Everyone knows we're not in the business that is kind of like marketing or finance or anything like that.
Right.
But we're
Right.
the job at, when you go to a dinner party that everyone wants to talk to you, because they say, oh my gosh, that is such a cool job. I wish I got into that job. So
Right.
it's so cool to be able to say, hey, I'm in this job and I've made it. I've
Right.
made it this far, to say, I'm still working on it and I'm still working in it. Even though I have no social life, it is still fun and it's still fun to do.
You know what? That's amazing that you said that, Kendall, because when you talk about the social life, for me, I'm a social butterfly. I love
Yeah.
going out. I live by the mantra simply of work hard, play hard, and I really do.
Okay.
That's what I like. But I also understand I'm chasing a dream, and this is a dream of
Mm-hmm.
mine to be in this profession
Mm-hmm.
somehow, some way. And I know that I'm going to have to sacrifice. I actually had a friend I would say about maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, say, hey, bro, come out to the bar. Hey, we were turning up here. And I said, man, no, I can't do that because I'm doing Zooms right now. I'm
Yeah.
talking to professionals. And they was like, what? Well, why are you doing that? I said, I totally get it, bro. You don't understand. It's
Yeah.
hard for you to understand unless you are really in those shoes, unless you're really
Exactly.
going towards that goal.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Another thing that resonated that you said was the schedule. So my schedule right now is a crazy one because I have 7 classes. I work full time for the
Mm-hmm.
lottery right now, and I also work part time doing event security. And like I said, I do a radio show on
Crazy.
Wednesdays, and I also do staff. I'm a staff writer for a magazine, so
Mm-hmm.
and I work overnight
Yeah.
at my full time. So for me, I was like, if I can do all that, this sports thing gonna be a damn breeze because
Literally.
yeah, right. So literally, I literally work 5 days, one week, 9 to 9, and then the next week I
Mm-hmm.
work 2 days. So I work 84 hours every 2 weeks,
Mm,
and then I have the seven
crazy.
classes that I have, and of course, my mom said I was crazy, and I'm like, that's cool. Yep,
You're
I'm a
like,
little bit.
yes,
I'm a little
maybe a
bit though.
little.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I am. But
Exactly.
I'm chasing a dream, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
graduate. And listen, when you're trying to do something and perfect something and be great, you do a little bit of crazy things at times to be that.
Mm-hmm.
So um,
Mm-hmm.
when you said
Exactly. I
schedule, you
agree with
said
you.
social life, that really resonated with me because
Yeah.
I
No,
really
it's non-existent. So.
it is. It is. It truly is. But that led me to that next question, or these actually next 2 questions. But I'm gonna ask this one first, and
Mm-hmm.
that is social life. And my thing is that yes, I'm a partier, and I'm a night person, I should say, and I do work hard and play hard. But I also really love my
Mm-hmm.
mom, my family, and I really love my loved ones. I love to be around them, and talking to
Mm-hmm.
my mom and telling her that, hey, I'm going into this profession, and there may be some times where we may go without seeing each other for a long time. And
Yep.
my dad as well, who lives in New York. I may not see you like that. So how, and also the
Mm-hmm.
dating life, which is non-existent over here too. So it's like,
Yeah.
how difficult is that when you have to realize that you may not be able to see your friends and your family, you may not be able to talk to them as much, you may miss holidays or and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
parties and weddings, and then also dating life. You may not be able to have a date or go out on a date, and it's like, man, but how difficult is that?
Yeah, I would say it's super difficult because you're living it. I'm living it.
Hmm.
But I will say that I was blessed because my parents knew I wanted to do this for a long time. And so they
Okay.
always knew, hey, I may not be around for Christmas, or, I may only get a couple days of Thanksgiving. So I am so blessed to be able to have parents like that who understand and aren't saying,
Yes.
why aren't you ever home? Or, when are you going to give me grandkids? They're just not like that because
Oh
they
boy,
know,
hey, I get that question too.
because they just know that, I have such a big dream, and as do you, that we want to make it so bad that I would rather focus on my career right now because we're so young and things like
We
that.
are.
And same with my friends. I will say I am so blessed with amazing friends because they know I have a friend and she'll call me maybe at 7 and say, "Hey, come over, let's hang out." And then I go over to her house and then breaking news happens. And I say, "All right, well, this was fun for like 5 minutes. I have to go
Time
because
to go.
there's breaking news and it's me and it's our digital team." So
Right.
it is difficult, but it is like bringing it all back around to what we were talking about before. It is all about, if you know what you want,
Yes.
it's all going to be worth it, because there are going to be times where, last year I was at the Super Bowl and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm covering the Super Bowl and I'm at the media party, and this makes it all worth it, not going out on those Friday nights in
Yes,
college,
it
or
does.
not being able to go to that wedding because I've had to say no to weddings because they're during football season and I
Me
can't
too.
travel. And so it's kind of like that, it sucks in the moment, and it really does hinder some relationships, and you may lose relationships from it too,
I
friendships,
have. Yep.
everything like that. But then you have moments when you're working like I did at the Super Bowl, and you just sit back and you say, oh my gosh, this is my life and this is so cool and this makes everything worth it.
Yeah, I was before I get to the second question, I was super excited to cover high school football. And
Yeah.
it was my first time ever covering the game. I was nervous, but excited because
Exactly.
I had my like little credential and it had my name on
Uh-huh.
it. And I ain't never had a credential with my name on it before. And I was like, this
That's
is great.
awesome.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
it is awesome. That's why.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. But I
Yeah.
totally get what you're saying. Now,
Mhm.
this question is about um, the journey, and what I mean by that is that has there ever been a time in your life that you no longer wanted to be in the sports media industry field, and if so, how did you exhibit the resiliency to not quit?
No, that's a great question too. I think everyone in their life in any moment sits back and says, what am I doing?
Yep.
What am I doing here? Is this worth it? Why am I going through not having a social life, or being on call all the time, or not being able to do everything that my friends are doing? So I can't sit here and say I've ever thought, what am I doing? And because I have had those things where you feel a little defeated, or like you're not doing enough. That's been something really, I've never thought about getting out of the industry, but I have thought, hey, I'm not doing enough, or I need to be doing more to be seen, or I need to be doing more to be like this mentor I have, or like the other mentor I have. So it has definitely, and I can't think of anyone that I've ever talked to that has said, oh, that's never happened to me. But I think, again, it's about knowing what the long term goal is, and
Okay.
knowing that you've gotten this far too. I've sat back and thought, I've put so many hours and so many resources into something that I love to do. And that's really what brings it back for me. If I ever have those thoughts, is that, hey, I love doing this. There are
Right.
days where it's a lot more difficult, and it's, 12-hour days, or you're having to cover something for a really long time and things just pile on. But then at the end of the day, I always think I am, one, so lucky because so many people don't get the opportunity to do this. And two, I try and remember my goals. I always write my goals down on paper and have them in front of me somewhere in my apartment, because I say, hey, you want to manifest this and you want to make it happen, but you need to hold yourself accountable too. And you need to look at your goals and say, hey, this is what I want to do in the long term. And when
Yes.
they're staring right back at you have no excuse to not say, okay, I remember what I'm doing this for. So I think whenever those thoughts come around, as they have for me, I sit back and I try and remember what I'm doing this for, which is myself. And I sit back and think about how lucky I am and how many people have gotten me to this point, to realize, hey, it's going to be hard and you're going to have those moments, but you just got to keep going, because the next day is going to be better than what you're going through right now.
Oh yeah, that's well
Yeah.
said. And listen, a lot of people they look at you, as a digital host, they listen to
Mm-hmm.
you, they may look at the website and like, wow, you living a glamorous life. Look at you, and you doing this and you doing that. But they don't understand that the hard work that you put in behind the scenes
Exactly.
and what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
it really is paying off. And what you did in Arizona State, I mean, you deserve your roses. There's no
Yeah.
question about it because you work hard, and there's a lot of
Exactly.
people that want your job, and there's
Hmm.
a reason why you were selected. And
Exactly.
and it's and every day I'm pretty sure, at least I would have the mindset, and I'm pretty sure you probably do too. You want to prove why you made the right selection in me.
Exactly. Yeah. Prove to,
So
and to all your mentors and stuff too. It's just like, hey, I'm here for a reason. I will show
absolutely,
it to you. Maybe I will have a bad day, but I will get
right.
back on track here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I
Yeah.
said, you deserve your roses, and you're great at what
Thank
you do.
you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
I appreciate that.
So let me tell you this quick story before I get to the next question.
Mhm.
We talked about how you had those thoughts of what am I doing. So I'm going to go back a few years and tell you about my first internship. It was with the
Mhm.
Knoxville Ice Bears. It was a game day internship. I gave my resume to the people at the Atlanta Falcons career fair. That's how I
Mhm.
got it. They called me and said, "Hey, Chris, can you finish out the season with us because some of our Tennessee students is not coming back?" No, I
Mhm.
said, "Sure." Now, mind you, at this time I was a freshman, and at this time I'll tell you, I started school kind of late, so I was a 23-year-old freshman,
Okay.
and now I'm a 28-year-old senior.
Mm.
So at this point, I was 23, and I was going to do the Knoxville Ice Bears, and I didn't have a car. I lived at home, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how I was going to get up there. I really didn't. And I just started a full
Yeah.
time job, which I'm at the same full time, but I'm at a different position. As I said, I was overnight. Back then, I was working 8 to 5.
Mm.
It was my first full time job ever. So basically, what I did for the next 3.5 months, Kendall, was I took Uber to a station, MARTA station, and then I took the Megabus.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with the Megabus?
No.
Or are you familiar with Greyhound?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it's the same difference. I would take
Okay.
both. For the next 3.5 months, I would take both of those, and I would go to Knoxville, which is a 4-hour trip on a bus, and then I would get off, and I would get off the Knoxville Transit, and I would go to the hotel. Either I would pay for the Motel 6 or a Super 8. Either
Mhm.
one depends on the weekend, wherever it was cheaper. So I did that for the next 3.5 months, but I had a moment in my hotel room, and I also said to myself, what the hell am I doing this for? Because
Mhm.
this was an unpaid internship.
Exactly.
And I was like, I need a car, I need a place. I just started a new job. I'm like, I need to save money, but I really want to be in sports so bad. And this is
Mhm.
the first people that ever called me to do anything with a sports team.
Yeah.
And I never quit anything in my life, but I really was like questioning myself, do I really want this? Because if I
Yep.
really want this, I can't half-ass it. I gotta put both
Exactly.
my feet in and do it. So long story short, I finished the internship, got a great recommendation from the guy, and it taught me determination, taught me hard work, it taught me what a game day crazy atmosphere it is on game day. But
Mhm.
it also taught me I did not want to do game day operations.
Yeah.
It taught me what I didn't want to do, which is
Yeah.
good too.
Good
That's why
too.
I went to the journalism side
Mm.
and I started getting into the journalism. Now, fast forward years later, I now have my own place. I now have my own car, and now I'm on the cusp of graduating.
There you
Um,
go.
and
That's
it started
perfect.
from there. It started from
Yeah.
there. So
No, that's awesome.
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, and those megabus trips was brutal. There's no
Yeah,
question
I can't
about
imagine. I really
that.
can't. I really can't.
But let me get to the next question. This is a fun question. These next two questions are kind of fun. What is
Okay.
your favorite memory that you have done in the industry thus far, and why?
My favorite memory. So I have two that were just incredible. And I brought the one up before, but one was just covering last year's Super Bowl LIV. It was insane to be in Miami and to travel
Oh man,
there. To travel from Denver to Miami with some of the hosts and to just be there and be able to walk around. You mentioned, first time having a credential with your name on it, and we went and picked our credentials up, and it's something I will cherish forever because it's a picture of me. Sometimes I think, wow, how did I get there? And it's with the Super Bowl logo and the NFL logo, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. So
right?
it's just that was incredible last year. And then an event that I never even thought I would cover was the NHL outdoor series. and the Avalanche played in I can't remember where. I remember where it was. Can't remember. Yeah,
They
but
played in the Denver Bronco
yeah,
Stadium.
no. They played at the Air Force Academy. And it was incredible because, everything was outside, obviously the outdoor series. And it was just something that I never thought I would experience. And then here I am again with my job, being able to say, oh, I'm here and here's a credential with my name on it. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't believe this is my job. So those are two of my so far most recent favorite memories, was the Super Bowl and the outdoor stadium series with the Colorado Avalanche.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really awesome. Now, I asked you about your favorite memory. Now I'm going to ask you, what is an event that you would like to cover but you simply haven't yet, and why?
Oh my gosh. I don't That's a good question, because at last year, it's funny because last year what it like forever was the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was forever, but I am a huge baseball fan. I absolutely love baseball. So
Yep.
anything like World Series wise, or even any postseason type of baseball, would pretty much be right up my alley. So I would probably have to say, yeah, that the World Series.
I would say, for the two for me is, well, outside the Olympics. I mean, everybody
Oh
wants to
yeah,
cover
the
the
Olympics.
Olympics.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It would definitely be, well, no, three. I should say three. One is the NBA Finals, without question.
Nice.
Two would be the World Series, because
Mm-hmm.
the last time I saw the Padres, I was in the World Series. I was 6 years old,
Oh
uh, and that was a long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
They'll be back.
So,
Don't worry.
right. You know what I'm saying? So I would love
Yeah.
that. And then the last one is the Super Bowl, because I remember telling my dad that I said, Dad, I'm going to be a sports reporter and a sports writer, and I'm going to cover the Super Bowl, and I'm going to take you with me. Because I remember growing
Hmm.
up watching
I
the
love
Super
that.
Bowls with him. And he
Yeah.
looked at me, and he was like, You're crazy as hell. What are you talking
Now
about?
you just got to manifest it. You just
Right?
manifest it and good things come. I'm telling you.
I was trying to speak it into existence. Now,
I know.
the second time I said it, he gave me a different look. He said, "Okay, that would be something special if you ever did that." I said, "I
Oh,
promise you,
that's awesome.
I'm working on that." So,
Hmm.
yeah, those are mine.
Love
The
it.
next question that I have is about moving around. And
Mm.
I have this question because I asked it: Is it better as a reporter or someone in the sports media field to move around for work, or is it better to stay in one place and continue to grow?
You know, for me, I should say it just depends on what you want to do, I would say. If you want to jump markets and you want to get, to the big markets, I'm in 17 right now, and you want to, get to markets 1 through 20, or, 1 through, whatever. If you want to be in a big market, to get there, everyone's journey is different.
Right.
I came here out of college and I was so blessed because I'm again in market 17, and I couldn't believe that I was starting in market 17,
Right.
because I had friends going to Oklahoma and, going to Montana and going to these smaller cities to cover their sports, because that's just where their career path was heading.
Right.
They started there. So I would say it just depends on the opportunity that you're given. If you're given an opportunity in Montana to cover high school sports to start, that's amazing, because I have friends that do that, and they cover their beat so well, and they have so many amazing clips. Or if you get the opportunity to jump on with a team, or you have an opportunity to start, in a bigger market, you take that opportunity too. So I really would say it's customary for us to move around a lot. I've lived in 4 different states, I believe.
Hmm.
I believe so far. So it just depends on what kind of journey you want to have. If you get on with local news or something like that. I have friends that have stayed in local news, outlets, because they've just come accustomed to them, and they got shots to be anchors there and things like that. And I've had friends that have moved 10 different times already, because they just keep getting these new opportunities, and they just keep wanting to move and do new things and build their resume. So it just depends on your journey. I don't think there's a right answer to that. Some can, jump on with a beat and stay with them forever. Some could just have a new job every couple years. So it just depends on what you're looking for, and if you continue looking for a job, and where your journey takes you.
Got you. I like that. I do like that because a lot of my teachers, especially here, um, they'll say, well, Chris, you got to prepare yourself to work in a small market. Don't prepare
Mm-hmm.
yourself to go into a big market. You may never make it to a big market. And I had to stop my teacher and be like, ma'am, excuse me. Whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
Um, I respect what you're saying, but I'm a person that wants to strive for the best. I don't just
Mm-hmm.
want to just settle for a small market. I want to take the best
Exactly.
market possible.
Exactly. You just got to tell them, hey, you could, like I said, I came out of college to, cover Denver sports, and it was crazy to me. So
Right.
it can happen to anyone if you just apply yourself.
Absolutely. Now, did you come out of college straight into that job, or did you do like an internship? Or because I wanted to ask you about internships. Like, do you remember doing your first internship, and how was that feeling doing your first internship?
Yeah. So it is funny. I was an intern at 1043 The Fan before. So, and I don't think that was my first internship. It was with The Fan, but I had done Fox Sports Arizona before in college, and I had
Okay.
done a couple other internships. But I did an internship with The Fan, and it helped a lot because, like I said, the industry is small. People know people, it's all about connections that you make. So I obviously hoped to make a good impression at The Fan, doing anything and everything they asked of me. And it came to be that when I was graduating, they called me and said, hey, we potentially have a position opening, and we know you're graduating in May, and we'd love to have you. And I graduated in May, I think on a Thursday. And then by that next Thursday, I was starting work. And I had
Oh
moved
wow.
everything to Denver and was ready to go and bright eyed and everything like that. So, yes, I did internship, and they're so important, and everyone needs to do them if they can, if they're able to. And it's just about making connections and showing how hard you can work there so that they can remember you and call you later down the line.
I like the fact that you said connections because it really segues into the next question that I have. And
Perfect.
this is about interviews.
Hmm.
Um, to me, Kendall, I have a love-hate relationship with teamwork online
Uh huh.
and work in sports because I feel like I get my cover letter together, get my
Hmm.
resume together, and I apply for a posting of a job. And then when I apply for it, it's like I'm sending it off into space. 'Cause I don't know
Yep.
where the hell it's going. I don't know if it's being read. And then when they do reply back to you,
Hmm.
somebody's posting, they'll say, well, the job's already been filled. Now, mind you, here's my take on that, and I'm just, just giving my opinion on this.
Hmm.
I think some of these companies are just putting these postings up for legal purposes because
Mm.
they just want to post it, but they already know they got their inside guy or
Yeah.
woman that they want to hire inside because that's what they do. But
Hmm.
legally they got to put it up. So
Yeah.
my question to you is, what is the best way for someone to get an interview with companies? Is it going online, filling out this stuff, or is it emailing directors, producers at some of these stations, sending in your resume, or is it talking with talented professionals like yourself, building a connection?
It's all of them, I would say. It
Really?
is
Okay.
a lot of it. I have seen jobs posted online, and while I agree that sometimes they are posted, but they already really know who they want to get, it's all
Mm-hmm.
about connections and things like that. I would say it's all of them, though. It is maybe sending in that resume at that application, and then finding someone who you follow that maybe works there, or finding someone, the HR director's email, or someone who works there's email, or sending a DM. That can go a long way too. It's things like that, saying, hey, I just applied for this job, would love to discuss it more with you. Let me know if let me know when you're free. Things
Yeah.
like that. So you just make the connection with other people instead of just sending your resume off. I always tried to, when I was looking for jobs and stuff, I would apply to them and then look and see maybe on LinkedIn or something like that if I had acquaintances that worked there, or people that I was connected to worked there. So it's all about making the connection and also just showing initiative. Just saying, I think just a simple email or even a simple, LinkedIn message goes a long way to show, hey, they applied, but not only did they apply, they reached out to me to let me know. And
Right.
that's what makes you stand out even more, because that's everything that it is in this industry and this job, is how you stand out and how people can remember you. Because maybe you don't get the job the first time, but maybe then later down the line they say, oh, I remember Chris, he emailed me and I think I still have that email somewhere, or I think I still have that DM. Maybe I should send him this again. So it's all about making that extra effort, because that's gonna separate the people that want it and the people that don't. And that's going to separate who gets the job and who doesn't.
I like that. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, when I sent you the DM to talk to you, I'm not very nervous. I want to say I was nervous, but you always try to be respectful of people,
Oh
because
yeah.
at the same time, you don't know me at all, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and I would have totally understood if had you never
Oh yeah.
answered back.
Yeah.
But you did, and it was great. And it's always nerve wracking when you do that. But the worst thing you can say is no. And I always try
Exactly.
to get on that pedestal, and I always try to just say, hey, and this is me, this is who I am. Try to be as
Mm-hmm.
upfront as possible, and you reach back.
Yep.
And I'm appreciative. Thank you so much. I really
Oh my
am.
gosh, of course.
Um, I also wanted to say that, or I wanted to ask, when is it too much to be too much? And when I say that is that you talked about sending emails.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you send an email, you say, hey, my name is Chris. I'm just inquiring about any opportunities that you may have within your company. But then how many emails do you send before you be like, well, maybe I shouldn't be
Yeah.
stalking this guy or
Yeah.
this
I
lady?
think it's there obviously is a threshold of saying, oh my gosh, okay, well, this person is just emailing me nonstop. And then it gets
Right.
annoying and then you get blocked, which is what you don't want to have happen.
Right.
But I always say, when sending an email, because I've had people send emails to me, asking about advice or doing an interview or things like that. And sometimes I get so busy, especially during the football season, where I will unintentionally miss it. Or I'll say, hey, I need to remember to email this person back, and it never happens.
Yeah.
And so, but I give it a 2 week rule. You
Okay.
don't hear back. Maybe 2 weeks later, just say, hey, just following up on my previous email. Always link the old email too, just in case, and say, hey, I was just, wondering, 2 or 3 weeks, say, hey, just following up on this. Do you have anything? And then if after that, it's kind of just okay, maybe 6 months later, but if they're not emailing you back, it's obviously, and give them a few months too. I had a friend recently who said, I got this job I have from just doing a blind email and then a follow-up email to that. And his now boss emailed him 2 months later
Okay.
saying, hey, I had remembered your email. I had seen it, didn't reply to it because there was nothing. And sometimes they just won't reply because they have nothing. They have
Right.
no jobs and they just think, I'd rather just not reply, which is whatever. But sometimes
Right.
like that, where I don't have time or I'm not going to reply because we don't have any jobs. But he
Right.
said that he got his job from just a blind email like that. So I
Okay.
think it's the follow up that's important too. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever you think, and then maybe later, way later on down the line, a few months go by, and then after that, you just kind of got it. This is a sit and wait kind of industry, so you kind of just you apply and you sit and you wait. Hurry up and wait.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
naturally, what I've done in the past is I've done the three email rule. And what
Yep.
I'll do is I'll shoot an email and then I'll wait about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, shoot another email. Then
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait about a month and then almost to a month
Yep.
and a half. I wait a little bit longer. And I'm like, okay, well, I sent three emails in 2 months and he ain't respond back. He or she hasn't responded
Mm-hmm.
back. I'm like, ooh, maybe nothing ain't going on. So then
Yep.
I'll just play the waiting game and do that. So, but
Exactly. That's a
everybody
good
is
rule.
different because
Mm-hmm.
you say that, and that's great. I love it. But then there's also people that said, "Well, I was relentless. I applied to every single job I'm posting," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Whoa!" It's like, okay, all right. So it's good to hear different perspectives on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
because
and like I said, people, it just depends on the job too, or if you know people who work there or things like that. There can be, being aggressive is good, and maybe sitting and waiting on it, especially if you have no timeline. Especially if maybe you have a job and you're just kind of reaching out to see what's out there. If you're in no rush at all, then maybe it's different for someone who maybe just graduated or something and is looking for a job.
understood on that one. Okay,
Mhm.
so let me ask you this: what is some advice that someone has given you that was really good on being in the sports media industry field, or you have given someone that's an up
Hmm.
and coming person in the sports media industry too?
Yeah, I will say that, like I told you before, advice I always give people is get involved in college and get as many clips, get as many videos, cover as many events as you can because, excuse me, it will make a difference. And then, oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
And then advice that I've been given is basically just at, whenever you're working, act like someone there knows someone you know.
Okay.
And the way I can explain that is when I'm working at this job, I need to work as hard as I can, but I need to realize that people where I work now could help me get my next job in the future. And you always want to just be a nice human being and be a good person and just work really hard and want to make yourself want people to work with you. And because, like I said before, the industry is so small and there are so many connections from other people that can help you. So it's just important to work hard and just really be yourself and don't try to be, a big shot or don't, act like you don't care a lot. Work every day like you love this job so that people where you work can help, could potentially help you get your next job too.
I like that. That
Yeah.
was probably one of the best answers you gave out of really great
Yeah.
answers you gave all.
Hmm.
Like seriously, work every day like you like this job and be yourself.
Exactly. Be a
And
good
I love
person.
being myself. Yeah, I mean, it's all
Exactly.
self
Just be a
love. If
good
you don't love
person.
yourself, then what else can you do? So, um,
Exactly.
but what I wanted to do is to let you know that I am following you on
Perfect.
Twitter.
Twitter.
I am following you on, I think you have it, I believe Instagram. If not, I will follow you.
Okay.
And then LinkedIn, LinkedIn as
Perfect.
well. Those are the three main sites that I use.
Yes.
I also want to, I do a radio show. We do
Hmm.
put it on YouTube. I'll definitely have to give you the name, probably DM you
Yeah.
the name.
Please.
I also am going to be doing some stand ups and some reels.
Love it.
I want to send you those as well.
Yeah.
I know you're a very busy lady, so I promise I won't pester you. I
No.
promise I won't.
No. Please do. I like it. What I will say to wrap it all up is that I love that you reached out to me. I think it shows great initiative and things like that. And you have my email. And please pester me. However, because I'll now remember you because we did this. But it's just ask around in a few months when you graduate if we have job openings and things like that. Because I do, where I work is such a great place to work. But also my company owns a lot of radio stations in Seattle and California and Utah and everything like that. So please, you have my email. So please send me anything and everything you can and reach back out so that we can make sure that we at least try something.
And that's what you took the words out of my mouth. That was the last thing I was gonna say was that if you heard anything from that time frame,
Absolutely.
we'll have each other's emails to let me know. But
Mhm.
if I don't have any more questions, because you have been absolutely thorough with all the questions that I've asked, but
Perfect.
I just want you to enjoy your Wednesday night. I really do appreciate your time, Kendall, and
Yeah.
please do not be a stranger, because I certainly won't.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And like I said, shoot me an email with your stuff and just keep, if you see something or if you see a job or maybe people, a job from someone that follows me that I follow, just please reach out. I'm always on my phone or the computer because of my job. So I
Absolutely.
usually reply fast. But
I,
thank you for doing this, Chris. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Kendall. You enjoy your Wednesday night.
Awesome. You too. Bye bye.
Bye.